microphone. Completely forgot about my microphone. How y'all gonna hear me if I don't have my microphone on? Alright. And it's all beat up. What is going on? There we go. It's gonna have to be. Alright, what's going on, traders? What it is. Alright, got my stuff. Got my little setup a little better this time. No more, fixed a little bit of my technical difficulties. Production a little bit better. But anyway, so let's get right into this video. So today I just want to do a little pop-up. What I like to do on the weekends or even sometimes throughout the week, like especially if I'm paper trading, I'll do this if I see something that I want to improve on. So what I do is I practice, right? So I'm an athlete, have an athletic background, and I believe in practicing a lot. So I incorporate that into my day trading, into my trading period. I like to practice using I either will look at the charts and imagine that I'm trading it live, or I'll use like the replay mode or something like that, or even in Thinkorswim they have the on-demand feature that I can use to get my practice in. All right, so today I'm doing a quick practice before my the next thing I got to do, the next thing that's on my schedule. But I'm gonna get a little practice session in today. I wanted to do it as a community this time. So yeah, let's get right into it. Stop talking too much. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do all this in Sierra chart. All right. So the goal today, while this is opening up, it's opening up on another screen. All right, there we go. All right. So the goal today is to practice my execution on pullbacks. All right, that's my goal. All right. Let me bring up a little notepad or something. I don't like that one. Let me see. All right. So my goal for the day, for this practice session, is let's see, entry. Come on, spell execution. All right. So BTD, which means buy the dip. That's what that means. That's what BTD means, buy the dip. All right. That's what I'm going to be practicing today, entry. Let's see. I think I'm going to, so I didn't script this out or anything. I was going to script it out, but I figured it would be better to just, let it go with the flow. So, or just to let it flow so you can see like my natural process of how I do this, right? So sometimes, this is my study layout, my study chart book, and sometimes I may do it here, but since I want to make it kind of as real as possible, I'm gonna go with my normal chart book where I trade in Q. All right, and I have over here on my whiteboard some dates that I wrote down. All right, so the way that I like to do this is kind of like how a professional basketball player would watch some game tape, and they would get some notes on whatever little nuances they saw, with parts that they saw that they can improve on, or something that they learned that they want to work on. So this is like the whole structure of how I set my practice up, right? So I take a day that I've seen that we in the past, of course, it's the only way this is even possible. I take a day from the past. I like to stick with the current week, just for normal practice. And if I want to run like a scrimmage, what I'm calling a scrimmage, what I'll do is I will just pick a random date, like somewhere like as far back as I can go in the past, and then I'll trade it like I never, like it's actually live, right? All right, so let's go ahead and get this set up. All right, a day that I got on the board here is June 30th. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and clean all this stuff off my chart. Matter of fact, I want to zoom up because I want to pretend like I'm actually trading this live. So I want to go through the whole process. All right. So let me go ahead and erase all non-text drawings. All right. And then we're going to go to a specific date and time. All right. So we got June 36. 30. I don't remember what happened on this day at all. All I know is I got it on the I wrote it on my whiteboard. That's all I know. And I'm not worried about the time because this is I'm doing my practice, right? I'm watching the game tape, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna execute. I'm gonna practice, you know, what my goal for today, which is my entry execution. That's where I place meaning seeing the setup and where I place my limit buy order, right? So we're buying the dip, right? And this is going to be based on support and resistance. All right. So, right, we're going to buy the dip. So in order to do that, this means that the price is already traded up to a certain, to a certain point, and we're looking for the price to pull back and hit a resistance area. Hit a support area, and we're gonna, in order to catch that, we're gonna place a limit order down there, that support area. So when it trades back down to that area, hopefully we get triggered, and then the price bounces, and we can ride the wave back up, and we can take advantage of that. All right, so this is the oh, you can't even see that, my bad. There we go. My camera's in the way. All right, so so this is the goals here. This is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna structure our practice session for the day. All right, this is my proverbial jump shot. All right, so June 30th, I'm gonna go ahead and okay on that. And all right, so this is the point where I will watch some game tape, right? So all that means is I'm looking and I'm seeing what happened throughout the day. I'm looking and seeing if this is even a good day to even practice this. Now, hindsight is definitely 2020, and being a member of Hindsight Capital, hindsight gives us 100% accuracy. All right, so that the reason I'm saying that is let me go ahead and delete that up there, is we don't have to worry about being wrong on this. All right, this is about practicing seeing the setup happen and then actually executing on what we see, right? Because a lot of times what happened, why this is like even something that what we'd even practice, is a lot of times like you can look at charts, you can do all your studying, all your back testing and all that, but then you will when the market is actually live and everything is moving, everything that you studied and everything that that you saw when you was just looking at charts before, it's kind of like it just leaves your brain, and then like you miss all kind of opportunities, and you start seeing it play out, and then you look back a few minutes or whatever, like, oh man, I missed the opportunity there. So the way that we address this, so that we the way that we avoid missing those opportunities in the future is by going back. It's basically through repetition, right? So we're gonna keep doing we're gonna keep practicing our execution over and over and over until it just becomes second nature. And this is how it works with playing sports, any kind of sport, especially my basketball was my sport. I played every sport, but the basketball is a sport that I like the most, and that's the sport that I played the most, like on an organizational level, in high school and all that good stuff. So the way that actually had I had a decent jump shot. I was a good shooter, right? So the way that I got so good at shooting It was kind of, some of it was natural, but I would always shoot the ball. I would just shoot over and over. I would try to, take different shots. I would shoot at different angles. I would just practice that over and over and over to the point where I didn't have to always, when I'm in a game situation, I didn't have to focus on my technique while, the game is moving fast, and then I get the ball and then I catch the ball. You don't have time when you see the shot that you can take. You don't always have time to sit there and then make sure your feet right and make sure you got your elbow tucked, and to make sure all the the intricacies of having a good jump shot is right. Your form is right and all that stuff. You don't have time to just go through that all the time in in a live game. So the way that you are prepared for that situation when you get an opportunity to take your shot is you practice it when in outside of the live game situations, right? You just practice it over and over. So by the time I will always just practice my shot. I'll make sure my technique was, I'll go slow at first and make sure my technique was right and ready to go. So by the time we came to a game, by the time I got into a game and I was playing, it was just second nature. My mind and my body was just already going through the motions because I already practiced it so much. All right, so this is what we're gonna put that into our trading, right? And this is how because experience is the best way to become a successful trader. I mean, you can't skip there's no shortcut to being consistently successful over a long period of time. You need the experience, right? So the only way you can fast track that experience is by practicing. The more you practice, the more second nature it becomes and the better you get. All right, so with all of that being said, so much for all of that, let's go ahead and actually start doing this. All right, so we're gonna watch some game tape here, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna look for areas where I could have bought the dip, right? And I'm basing this off support and resistance. All right, so I'm gonna do it just with the charts and my indicators now. I also trade the fib lines, so I'm gonna go back and put the fib lines in there based off my power ranges, and then we'll look at it that way. So let me get my pen tool. And matter of fact, while we doing this, let me go ahead and get some music going. So I like to trade with music. That's just what I like to do. So let me go ahead and get my music playing. Oh, got an extra window back there. That real soft in the background, so let me turn that down a little bit. Alright, there we go. Let me do a quick little sound check. Alright, so grab my pen tool. It wants to come up. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is see what this looks like. Okay. Well, okay, all right. I'm gonna just use the tools here to do this. All right, so let me go ahead and look at my whole chart, and I'm also gonna this is a 10-minute over here, so I'm gonna reference this chart as well to look for some support resistance areas. So just looking, I'm not even looking at this is once we get the green highlighted background. This is the New York Stock Exchange trading hours, right? So this is 9:30 and it goes through, I got it highlighted through, should be 4 o'clock, 4:30. All right, so I'm gonna look at the pre-market area here for some support resistance areas. Now when we draw in the fib lines, the fib extensions, we'll see like the fib extensions kind of puts some of these in here already. This is why Fibonacci is such a popular indicator, or a popular tool to use for traders, right? So putting that in there, we can see like this gives us an area to buy off of, to buy a dip. This gives us an area to buy the dip. This gives us an area to buy the dip. We have a lot of places where we can buy the dip, right? If I wanted to find some more areas, during the normal trading hours, we have an area right here. This is I'm just using the 10-minute chart right now. All right. We also have an area right here. I don't know why it doesn't want to. There we go. And technically, this could be another area right in here. All right. So I said it in my last live stream that one of the last live streams that yes, we're calling these lines, and they are lines, but the best way to look at them is areas. All right. So let me go ahead and zoom into this chart. Make things a little bit bigger. All right. So let's say I want to look at this line right here. Let's go ahead and make it a different color so I can illustrate this. All right. So this orange line, I'm calling this a support and resistance area. So the way I look at it is I don't look at it as a singular line, right? It's not just a singular line, right? It's actually an area. All right, this is an area that I will be, it's not a great drawing, but yeah, this is an area that I will be looking at to make a decision. All right, so let's just keep that in mind while we practice what we're gonna do. All right, go ahead, reset scales, and now that I got those drawn in there, all right, reset scales. All right, let me go back one. Should go back. That's not what I wanted to do. I thought I was gonna color it back to the way I wanted it to be, to the regular green. There we go. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw in my fib extensions, and for this, I'm gonna go back to the 3-minute chart because I'm just used to doing it that way. Alright, this is all part of the game tape setup process, or watching the game tape setup process. And the way I do my fib lines and power ranges is a little bit different than the way I do it on Thinkorswim, not Thinkorswim, but TradingView. On TradingView, I use some horizontal lines to put the power range in there, and then I draw my fib extension. But over here in Sierra chart, I do them both at the same time pretty much. All right, so go ahead and it's the first part of the range. If we can scroll up, we can see this is the bullish side. Well, I'm not going to do it perfect this time. This is practice mode. All right. And all right, so now we can see the dashed green lines represents the power range, and and we have our fib extensions in here. All right, so now let's zoom back to what we were looking at before, and we can see, and like in this one here, where I drew this support resistance line based off the 10-minute, we have a fib extension that's in that same area, right? So what I can do, that's close enough for me, I can go ahead, I'm just gonna leave it there. I have the option if I want to leave it there or if I want to take it away. All right, and also remember, I use my fib lines as targets. That's the primary reason that I use fib lines. They can also kind of represent a place to get in, but we're not worried about that for this one. Right now, what we're doing is we're practicing our our execution for buying the dip, right? So now we got all that drawn in there. For me, this is a little too busy, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove some of these lines based off of the fib extensions. Let's see what I want to do, because I want some of these lines to stay in there, and I don't want to use too much hindsight, because well, I can go ahead and remove this one, because we're gonna alright, that's what I'm gonna do, because I want to pretend like I wouldn't actually have this one here. This was actually based off of that. The only ones I would have in here are these that I put in there pre-market. So I'm gonna remove all of these. I try to keep my charts as simple as possible. The whole basis of my, I can go ahead and remove this one too. Alright, I designed my strategies on simplicity, so I want my strategies to be as simple as possible. Alright, so I think that's pretty good information to go off of. So we're actually going to start putting up practice shots now. Alright, I done looked at a little bit of game tape, and I just want to go ahead and get in the game and get into this, into actually, put the ball in my hand and really start practicing now. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put my chart to where to about to 9:30. That's when the market opens. Alright. And the reason I set it up this way is because of how replay mode works. So I'm using replay mode, and I got a shortcut up here that says replay charts. Another way to get to that. Now, normally this would happen. This process would go much faster for me. It's only going so, it's slow. I'm only going this slow because I'm trying to explain it and do it at the same time. This process the setup really doesn't take a lot of time. You just I start watching. I go back, I pick a date that I want to practice, and I, do a quick look at it. I don't want to look at it too much to where I'm, to where I don't even really get the benefit of practicing whatever I'm trying to practice. I want to kind of make it as real as possible, but have that advantage of hindsight, so I can, especially for this, because I'm trying to work on my execution. Alright, so I know what's gonna happen, so I can kind of be prepared, but at the same time, I want to see it when it actually happens. So let's go ahead and get into it. Trying to find the other place where you can bring up the replay, or we can ask. There it is. There. So under chart, you have replay chart, and you just click on that, and then that'll bring up the dialog box for replay mode, right? So I could have kept it up, but I have a shortcut here in my toolbar. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, and we already got our chart set up. So once I hit play, it's gonna go at a speed 1, and I'll make a separate video, so we don't get, so this doesn't go too long and we don't keep drawing this out. I'm gonna make a separate video of the different things that you can do with replay mode, but just to explain this one, once I hit play, it's gonna start wherever the chart is, right here. So this green candle right here is gonna start forming. It's gonna start at this green candle. Like, the green candle is not gonna be formed. It's gonna start replaying, how this green candle came into be, right? So for this one, I'm gonna have it a little faster. So 1 is like real time, but I want to practice this at a little bit quicker of a speed, because we're buying the dip, is so I don't have to be so quick on the trigger, right? I'm only focused on buying the dip right here. I'm not focused on taking a momentum play or a breakout play or anything like that. This is right here, I'm only focused on buying the dip. So we can go ahead and speed this up a little bit. If you click this drop down, it gives you some preset options to choose from, or you can click the arrows over here, but I'm just gonna go with 5, right? All right. So basically, like as every second passes, it skips 5 seconds, if that makes sense. Yeah. All right. So let's just get right into it, and let's see if we can. Let's see how well we do at practicing my execution, right? And I'm not gonna clear. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clear everything this time. So this dialog box will come up, and if you've been paper trading before, now, yeah. By the way, this all this happens in simulation mode. So you have this in trade. You have this select this option here to turn on trade simulation mode, and which is basically paper trading. That has to be on for you to be able to replay, right? To be able to use the replay mode, and it happens automatically. It's nothing that if I was, let's just say I already have it live, right? I had another pop-up that came up, and now, oh, I forgot I hit the thing. All right, you see it went back to simulation mode. So let me do it again. Oh, because I got replay mode on, it's not letting me turn it on. So never mind that, but that's just so you know. In order to do replay mode, you have to, it's gonna put you in simulation mode. So the reason why that's important, why I wanted to point that out, is let's say you've been replaying, but now you know the market is live and you're ready to make a trade. You gotta remember to come back up here and turn this off, or else you're only gonna be paper trading when you're trying to actually make some real money. And you're gonna end up, you know, if you don't notice that, you're gonna end up, you know, with a really good day, but nothing to show for it other than, you know, what's just in your platform as, you know, virtual money. And you're gonna be a little upset. I've actually done that before, not exactly this way, but I've done it to where I had the simulation mode on and I placed the trade thinking it was live. I made a little bit of money with it, but it actually, you know, then I made a little bit of money with it. Then I realized, like, oh man, that was actually a paper trade. It wasn't a live trade. And then I've done it before where it kind of saved me, where I was having a little FOMO and I was not, you know, in the right state of mind, and I made a bad trade. But luckily, I forgot to turn off simulation mode, and it saved me from losing a lot of money. I think I might have it recorded somewhere on this channel. But anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and get into this. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play again. It had already started. So let's just watch it. And let me put my chart the way that I would normally trade it. I like to have everything set up the way that I would normally look at it. So, you know, I'm doing everything a repetition. All right, so that's the first. So right now, based off of my strategy, I would not take any bullish trades here. All right, so overall, the great thing about these moving averages, they give you a quick way of seeing the trend, right? So that with the fact that most of this price action is below the 200 and the VWAP, that shows that we had in terms of the 3-minute chart, that we had a bearish day so far, a bearish trend so far. And since we're kind of trading sideways at this point, but all right, okay, so now we just broke out of there. So let's say I want to go in. I got my fib here. I'm gonna look at this range right in here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and place a limit order down there. And this is actually based off my fibs. And matter of fact, no, I'm not. I'm lying. See, this is why I practice. All right, so I want that bar to close first. That's a personal preference. And let me go ahead and do a buy limit. All right. All right, so our next support resistance area is up here, and it looks like we're trying to break through that. So if we break through it, and then I'll go ahead and move my order up to that next area, because the whole purpose of me trying to buy the dip is I'm using those supply and demand areas to get in at the best spot possible, and take full take full advantage of the move away from that area, right? So since we're trading bullish at this time, I want to find a area of support. All right, let me go ahead and move my order up because we have traded well above that area. I'm gonna play it right here. All right. Now, all right, yeah. So to finish explaining what I was explaining, I want to, what the whole purpose of me buying the dip is to try to get the best entry possible, so that once if the price bounces at that support, then I can take full advantage of the move away from that support area, right? So support, you would think that that's an area where a lot of traders are looking to buy. That's why we call it support. It's supporting the bullish move, or supporting the move in the direction that we want to go, if that makes sense. I'm looking at it, I'm trying to, normally I don't be talking so much while I'm doing this. I'm really just focused on the chart while I'm doing this. It's not something that I talk about. It's not something that I do where I talk a lot. I don't talk a lot during my practices. So trying to talk and explain, what I'm doing at the same time as I'm practicing this. Then I got the music in my ear, and I'm still trying to get used to having these headphones on. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to focus on at one time. All right, so let me shut up for a minute and let me just focus on getting this practice in. Appreciate that, Origin. How's your weekend going? Now, I would normally, I don't know what just happened there. Did it put me in a trade? Huh. Now that was, for some reason, it put me in a trade. I think I must have, wow, okay. So before I was playing around with, let me see. It must be on another chart. But I was playing around with automated trading. And that must be on still. Which I don't know. I could have sworn I turned all of that off. I think this is it. Huh. Alright. So that kind of messed me up a little bit. Alright. Yeah. I'm gonna have to figure that out later. I'm not gonna do it on this live stream. Yeah. So yeah, I caught a little winner here. I wasn't really prepared for that. Looks like there was an automated trade. I'm gonna have to figure out what I got turned on. I thought I had that off because I was paper trading last week and that didn't happen. So I don't know. You got some nice weather in Kansas. It's been raining a lot here in South Carolina. But today it's a nice sunny day. It feels pretty good outside. All right, so let me regroup because that threw me way off. That trade before, it threw me way off. Now the way I had it, it did come down to the area where I had my limit buy order, but the price turned around right before where I had the order set. So In terms of me seeing the move and or seeing the setup and placing the trade in the right area, I did all of that correctly. So that was a successful practice. I successfully practiced that jump shot, so we can keep it going and look for our next area. I probably could have did something up here, but for me, this is not buying the dip. Yes, we had a bearish candle here coming here. It traded down to this this support area that I had, or this resistance, its previous resistance, and now it's serving as a support area, and that's also this 61.8% fib extension line. These are support areas now, but my definition of buying the dip is, let's say the price trades up. It wouldn't trade up like that, but the price trade up, and the dip would be once it comes back and turns around and then continues to climb higher. Okay, so the dip would be in here. This what's going on right here. This is more like up here from my perspective. All right, that's my personal perspective. So that's a trade that I would not take. However, we do kind of have an area right here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place a limit right there for a quick pullback. This is an aggressive play. We already kind of tested this area, but I expect some. Well, we kind of did see it, so I am kind of using the power of hindsight to my advantage here. But what we're chopping around right now in this little range, and from experience, what I've seen when we what happens a lot of times when the price chops around, it'll hang around in that in a tight range, and then it'll kind of trade down and before it bounces, right? And they call that, well, I've heard it called the rubber band effect, right? So where we just trade in a tight range for a few minutes or a few hours, whatever chart you're looking at, and it'll pull back beyond a little bit beyond the previous support or the support area before it bounces and trades higher. So I think if I remember correctly, we did have that rubber band price action before on this day. So I think we traded down to here. So I'm gonna use hindsight and just looking at it. Like if I was looking at this live, that's the way I'll be looking at this anyway. I would look at this as a support area right here, this pivot as a support area right here, and with the possibility of us trading down, since we're chopping around right here, trading down, breaking that, slightly breaking the support area, and then bouncing and trading higher. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see how good my memory is. Alright. We keep testing the highs. Testing the highs of the day. And I'm expecting it to fail at some point. Some bears come in and try to short it and get rejected by some stronger bulls. I almost want to speed it up a little bit. But part of my practice also is practicing patience. And if I really want to focus on patience, I'll turn my speed to 1. Like if I, especially if I had a week where I wasn't being, as patient as I should have been, I will just go in and I'll practice my patience. And looks like it happened again. Turned around right before. So I could have been a little more aggressive. I don't think we get back down there, and I could have Yeah, I think I should have had. Matter of fact, let me go back and do that. So this is another thing that I do, and this could be a patience thing. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I'm gonna use hindsight to my advantage here, and I just want to like just kind of practice the execution there, being a little more aggressive. So now we in, and I'm not worried so much about my stop loss. This is based off this strategy. I might get stopped out quick. Based off this strategy that I'm using right now, it has a hard, I think it's a 40 tick. It's a hard 40 tick stop loss with a 5 tick break even, if I remember correctly. So if the price moves in my direction, for 40-ish ticks, it's not exactly 40, but my break even will pull up plus 5 ticks. That's for this, how I got it set right now. I don't always use it like that, but and it did it again. I don't know why I think this may be a software thing. It's weird. It could be. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that later because it added another contract in there for some reason. I think it has to do with the automated trades that I was playing with, like a few months back. And it did it again. Oh no, it took me out one. I don't know what's going on. It sold the contract, and there we go. It hit my break even. So, all right, that was another jump shot that I practiced. All right, let's look for one more. I'm gonna look for one more, and then I'm gonna go ahead and kill this live stream. Let's see what time it is. Yeah. So another thing is, let me speed this up a little bit, and I can always, yeah, I'm gonna speed it up though, because in the interest of time, I have something I got to do here soon, so try to speed it up a little bit. But what I was about to say is, if we continue to test like an area, like a support area, it tested, like you see right here, we tested it several times. At a certain point, I'll stop, making plays at that area, because I don't think we should continue to. I don't think we should continue to test the same support and resistance areas, over and over. Eventually, it's gonna fail if it continues to test it too many times. That's based off of what I've seen in the past and personal opinion. This is one of my favorite beats, by the way. Oh, there we go. I love this beat. I am my biggest fan. I'm not ashamed to say it. All right, so in the interest of time, I don't remember exactly how this played out, so I'm not gonna keep waiting for it. I'll probably come back sometime later on the day and do some. I love to practice, actually. I love to practice my execution, and it's helped me become a better trader in a lot of ways. So, but I got something I got to go do. So appreciate you, Origin, and anybody else who watches this in the future, coming and hanging out with me, watching me watching my practice session. And I'ma holler at y'all later. Deuces.